gotta do that. All right. You know, you can go here. You can stay here. Put you there. You know, I really thought I had all this together before I even pressed go live. And it seems I did not. All right. Okay, I think I'm together now. Hey, come on. Relax, reset, release. I kind of miss the dark that we don't have now because of the what you call it? What is it called? The time change now. So we just have to be in the light. But we don't mind the light, but I do miss, you know, the dark vibe, you know. So I'm gonna make a little mix before I start so I can get the mood going. I think I'm gonna do let's see. I'm thinking about the spring. Okay, let's do the tranquil afternoon. That one sounds good. So that one is gonna be chamomile 4 drops. If I can find it. Well, I hope everybody had an amazing week thus far and a good weekend. I absolutely did. I actually spent Sunday with my grandkids, and that's always a joy. So we went to the museum and it was a good time, and I actually liked it. It had a lot of stuff for kids to do, and that's hard to find. My grandkids age from the ages of 1 to 6, and so finding something for everybody to do is not always that easy. So I appreciated the fact that they had something for everybody to do. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna need my tweezers. That's what it's looking like. So I will be back again. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Now this time for real. I hope I got it together. Okay. I've never had this much trouble getting them open. It smells so good. So this is chamomile. And we're gonna do 4 drops of this one. 4. And then it says 3 of rose. I don't think I've used this one yet. So we're going to do 3 drops of the rose as well. Well. Okay. Ooh, this smells good. That's rose. So we'll do 3 of this. Those are kind of some big drops. That's all right. So 3 of that one. Then, trying to see if I have the remote. I should have it handy. Now I thought I prepared again for this. Telling you what. I know I had that darn in my face, out of reach. Like, listen, don't worry about it, because I promise I had this together. Let me get this. Oh, this is a mess. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. All right. Then next it is, what's next? Lavender, 1 drop. Okay. I wish I could smell this from there. I mean, it is immediate. As soon as I start smelling it, it immediately changes my vibration. Okay, the next one, it says 1 of sage and 1 of patchouli. I don't know what this word is. Patchouli, maybe? I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay, this is the sage. All right. On sage. My dog's trying to get in. All right. And this one is the last one. I don't know what it's called. Patchouli. Patchouli, maybe. Let's see what it smells like. I don't think I've smelled this one. All right, got it. You know what it almost smells like? It smells a little piney. It almost smells like pine sol a little bit. It's like a little pine and citrus. It's good though. Okay. All right. And I got this off Amazon, and they're plant-based too, so I use them for multiple things. You can use them to burn as incense, or you can add the scents to things to scent different types of stuff. So good little find. Okay. Let's get into the vibe. I know I have I've not been doing a topic on these relax, reset, release sessions because I've been wanting to just allow people to get on and to let them flow naturally. But I was thinking about it, and I think it would absolutely be essential for me to give you different techniques for relaxation, releasing, and resetting. And so that's what we're going to do today. So today we're going to talk about letting go of what you cannot control, okay? Releasing anxiety about outcomes, people, and situations. Now, this was something that I absolutely had to learn to do, and I am currently still learning. Before I came into my awakening, I was a very anxious person. I actually suffered from anxiety. I had to take medication for anxiety at one point in my life. I also had suffered from manic depression, insomnia, and things of that nature. So this is something that is that resonates with me, and so I thought it'd be good for us to get into. So the first thing that I want to get into about when it comes to anxiety, okay, is, and I know for me this was absolutely one of the main causes of my anxiety. I was a yes man. Okay, I was absolutely an enabler. And so when it comes to that type of energy, what you will find is you will find yourself in situations where people are comfortable bringing their issues to you. Okay, and once somebody brings their issue, their problem to you, it no longer becomes their worry, especially when they know that when they drop it off to you, you are going to resolve it. Okay, so you have to start getting comfortable with, the first thing is saying no. Okay, let me say that. Hey, oh, hey, Henry, hey, Samuel, how you guys doing? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Uncle Jukebox, how you doing, my love? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Grand Rising, today is Tuesday, and so this is where we come in and we relax, reset, and release. This is a safe place for you to unwind without judgment, okay? So if you have anything that you have been carrying, anything you need to let go of, or if you just need a reset, please make yourself at home. Or if you just want to relax, welcome home. I don't believe in coincidences. So if you find yourself here, you're absolutely here for a reason, on purpose. It's up to you to figure out what that is, though. Okay. And at any time, if you have something, please drop it, okay? And we will get into it. Now, so when it comes to you being that person, you being that enabler, the first thing is getting comfortable saying no and understanding that the only way people are going to learn and stop depending on you is for you to allow them to deal with the consequences of their actions. Okay? You are not responsible for what people go through. I know it's hard, especially when it comes to your loved ones, right? And like I said, especially if you're that person that is capable, that has the capacity to handle problems, right? Chaos and things of this nature, you are going to be a natural magnet for what I like to call energy vampires. And the thing about it is, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't know nor understand how to raise their vibration. And so what happens is when they find you, you become the outlet, and all they have to do is plug themselves into you and their vibration goes up. And you will notice in these moments when these people come into your space how their vibration goes from low to high, and also how your vibration goes from high to low, because they are siphoning your energy. And it is going to be your responsibility to be able to discern and decipher this. This is the only way you are going to begin to be able to put boundaries and limitations in place, okay? Can I ask you a question? You absolutely can. Do I believe in God? Of course I believe in God. Do you? Yes, I believe in God. I absolutely believe in God. But I also believe that besides God, right, we have the universe, you have Mother Nature. God created the world, and God is going to use the world to communicate. And a part of you understanding God's communication is to understand the oneness and connectedness of us all, of it's all, because we all are connected. Okay? But yes, I absolutely believe in God. Had it not been for God, I wouldn't be sitting here today. God saved my life. Not only did God save my life, God opened up the world to me and brought me into divinity and the spiritual realm. And so now I have a wider understanding of, like I said, of what source actually means and represents. And so when it comes to God, a lot of people are stuck in that box, right? Because they believe in that one God and that one entity. And so that's where religion comes in, and that's the difference between religion and spirituality. But that's a conversation. Look, that's a whole other conversation within itself. But yes, I absolutely believe in God. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is overthinking, okay? When it comes to anxiety, overthinking is going to be one of the top symptoms of overthinking. And I'm going to tell you now, unfortunately, what happens with overthinking at some point will lead to self-sabotage, okay? Because the thing about a thought is your thoughts create your reality, okay? And so whatever you are fixated on, whatever you are constantly thinking about is creating your reality. So when it comes to a thought, you need to be able at some point to also become the observer of your thoughts. Just because you think a thing does not mean it's true. You have thoughts residing, coming from multiple places. And when a thought enters your mind, the only way for that thought to live, that thought to thrive, that thought to become alive is for you to give it attention, for you to believe it. Your worst enemy, I'm going to tell you right now, is absolutely going to be yourself. Think about it for a minute. How many times have you had a beautiful thought or a beautiful idea about yourself, pertaining to yourself, that you allowed yourself to outthink, to overthink, and talk yourself out of? Sounding to the tune of, you don't deserve, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, things of that nature. Whenever you have a thought, a negative thought, something that is speaking life out of you, at that moment, you need to be able to release that thought to the wayside, okay? Do not adopt that thought, okay? Part of you being able to discern and decipher your thoughts is also a part of you recreating your limited mindset, right? That limited belief system that you might be operating up under. Remember, God is going to give you thoughts about yourself. God is going to give you ideas about yourself that are not yet in the physical. And the only way for you to bring these things into fruition, my love, is going to be for you to be able to believe so you can receive. You have to allow the thoughts to become convictions. When you have a new thought, a new belief, a new idea, a new level of creativity about yourself, this is a part of your higher self being revealed to you, showing you what you're capable of. Okay? So you have to be able to assume these thoughts before they come into the physical. Okay, so you want to be the observer of your thoughts. Okay, and whenever you have a negative thought, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Release it and let it go. Do what you need to do with it and let it go. Okay. Elevated perspective. Okay, that's going to be another tool that you can use here when it comes to your relaxing, resetting, and releasing process. Okay, whenever you are faced with a hard situation, with the thought, idea of opinion or opinion from another person, something chaotic, problematic in your life, the first thing you want to do is rise up in perspective. At that moment, go up. You know how they say, go low or we're going to go high. At that moment, go high. Because what happens is when you're initially hit with a problem or a situation that is deriving from a negative energy, your immediate response is to do what? To panic. You allow what is going on outside of you to now narrate your whole life. It is now controlling everything inside of you. And so instead of you being able to problem solve, to think, you're in panic mode, survival mode, trauma mode, whatever emotion is present when this problem is presented to you. So instead of sitting in it, my love, sitting in it, as long as that's all you can see, all you can feel, all you can think, solutions are going to get further and further away. Okay? So when I say go up, that at that moment, elevate in perspective. Okay, this is going to allow you to go up, and now you can see into the situation instead of being in it. You being in elevated perspective gives you clarity. It removes the overwhelming, right? The pressure, everything that you feel when you're sitting in the core of that problem or that situation. Okay, so elevated perspective. This is also understanding, right, that nothing in life happens to you. Everything happens for you. And so if something in your life is presented to you, take that as a learning lesson. Take that as spirit, as God trying to show you something. I'm going to tell you now, especially when the heavy things come my way, you have to understand, to whom much is given, much is required. These heavy situations, this is a part of shaping you to hold. Right? What you were created for. You have to go through these things so that way when you get further down the line and into your purpose and walking in your destiny, you have the skills and tools that you need to overcome these problems and these situations when they come. Just because you're now living in your highest self and your highest vibration doesn't mean life stops. It doesn't mean you won't still be faced with problems, with adversity, challenges. Right? So keep this in mind. It feels like you're not in control a lot of times, but a lot of times you actually are. It's that perspective that's not allowing you to see clearly. Okay? Hey, my love, how you doing? I've not seen you in a minute. Lemon, look, you know I'm not gonna don't let me look. LF, where you been, my love? I'm so good to see you too. I've missed you too. You know me. Well, that's a part of that indecisiveness, going all over the place. And when something comes up, right, throwing you off course here. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've been here 7 o'clock and we're holding it steady. So I'm going to be looking for you, baby. How have you been, my love? Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is being able to separate what you can control and what you can't. Okay? So, at this moment, when you get here, one way for us to clear up, relax, release, and reset is going to be being able to separate, to understand, to know what's in your control and what isn't. And so one thing that I'm going to suggest to you is to journal, right? You're going to go in your journal and you're going to make 2 columns. The first column is going to be what you can control. The second column is what you cannot. I'm going to give you an example. In the first column, the things that you absolutely can't control are your actions, your response, your effort, your boundaries, and your mindset, okay? A few things that you cannot control: other people, okay? Other people's thoughts, ideas, and opinions of you. In a lot of situations, you cannot control the final outcome, timing, the past. But what I do want you to understand here is in the middle of this is your response, your effort, your boundaries, your mindset, your actions absolutely can influence, okay, the things you cannot control. That's why they're out of your control, because you're not being mindful, conscious, and aware of your actions, response, effort, boundaries, and mindset. But once you come into that awareness of these things, then you will absolutely begin to influence these things that you cannot control. And this is because where energy goes, energy flows. The energy you give out dictates what you receive back. And so your response, your efforts, your mindset, these things play a vital part of the end result of whatever it is that you're going through. Okay? This is why I talked to you about leaving that survival mindset, that trauma mindset, that addictive mindset, that limited belief system. You have to begin to adapt and adopt a different mindset, okay? I tell you all the time, you change your mindset, my love, you change your whole world. It's nice to hear, definitely, that you are doing good. I'm also fine. Miss you, beautiful. Oh, you're so sweet. I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. You know, if you can't find me here, you can find me on Facebook. Where else am I at? Instagram, TikTok, not so much. But also my website, you know, I do private sessions now. So, you know, a little 30-minute an hour, whatever you need. But I'm always available. I see you. I cannot control my emotion I cannot control it. Ooh, I make you emotional? Let me find out. I hope it's in a good way. Okay, so now the next exercise that we're gonna talk about that is going to help you when it comes to your relaxing, releasing, and resetting is going to be releasing emotional weight, okay? The past is the past. Seasons change on purpose. You're not supposed to continue to carry weight, baggage, luggage from one season to the next. This is also why you are now being required and asked to stop picking up other people's baggage, right? Because if you're not relaxing, if you're not resetting, if you're not releasing, my love, this weight doesn't get lighter. Weight gets heavier. And the more you continue to add on to yourself, the more you keeping yourself tethered down to the low vibrational spaces that are not serving you. The past has already happened. I know there's things in our past, especially when we don't have the understanding of. These things keep us tied and bounded to the shadows. This is why you're not thriving and why you can't move on, okay? So we got to start releasing some of that emotional weight, okay? So when it comes to stress, to you overthinking, to emotional exhaustion, I want you to remember that it's only one of you. You only get one life, my love. And again, no thing in your life has happened by mistake. So understanding this, going back and going through those shadows is going to be another responsibility to yourself, okay? Taking responsibility and accountability for the things that happens in your past is a part of you setting yourself free. As long as you keep suppressing and running away from these things, the longer and the more powerful they become over you, my love. Okay? So, one thing that I want you to think about is when it comes to you releasing the emotional stress the emotional weight is relax your body, okay? Take a minute, relax your body, okay? Reset your energy and release the weight you were never meant to hold. You see what we're doing in this space right now? This is a part of relaxing, releasing, and resetting. Creating an environment for yourself that feels good, smells good. A place where you can be open, transparent, and vulnerable with yourself. You're not worried about anybody else's thoughts, ideas, and opinions of you. Okay? Make time for that. Make time for these things. This is you making time for you. Again, you're not a robot. Okay? We're not robots. We're not AI. I know we live in the program and your life keeps you in that You have to make time to find that balance, again, between that human and that being. Okay? The next thing is going to be a daily spiritual cleanse. Okay? How do you cleanse? What did we talk about last? You can do a water cleansing, make you a beautiful bath, put your aromas in, right? Your scents, all the smell goods, light you an incense, a candle, put some bubbles in. Again, whatever. Haven't you ever noticed, like, even when you take a shower, you feel lighter? Water is a beautiful way to release. Okay, this is why sometimes when I get on, I'll have the water playing in the background for you. Water is releasing. Okay. What was it? Journaling? Journaling is a way of releasing. Okay. Sometimes exercising, that's a way to release. Go on a walk. Go sit outside. Meditate. Pray. These are all forms of releasing, okay? And when it comes to you releasing, I want you to take time and relax into the present moment. Reset your spirit and release yesterday. If you were ever in a moment and you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, stop. Focus on the present moment and always remember, yesterday is gone, my love, and tomorrow is not here yet. The only thing you can control is what's happening right now. And what you feel, believe, and think about yourself is creating your reality at all times. At all times. Okay? I really love you, really. If I have you, everything will be... Oh, you do have... We right here. Look, we're here. We're together. This is it. This is us. Okay, so... let's talk about a release breath technique, okay? When you do this specific technique, you're going to inhale for 4 seconds through your nose. So you're going to breathe in, hold for 2 seconds, and then release slowly for 6 seconds, okay? And as you're doing that, I want you to imagine the anxiety leaving your body with every exhale. Every time you inhale, you're inhaling the calm, and when you exhale, you're exhaling the control, okay? And you want to do this 5 to 10 times. Remember, these things take practice and consistency. So don't feel like you're, what is it, imposter, you know, the imposter syndrome. I've been thinking about doing a video about that all week, you know, when you're in that phase of leaving the old and going into the new, but you're not there yet, so the old doesn't fit and the new doesn't yet either. That's what happens when you're vibrating up. You're going to find yourself in that middle space, okay? So when you find yourself here, trust your process. You're on the right path, okay? Comfortable means stagnant. Uncomfortable means growing. Side note that. The next thing is, I'm going to say sometimes, but most of the time, we feel responsible for other people's issues. Especially if you are an empath. So, when you find yourself in that moment of anxiousness, pause and ask yourself, is this my responsibility or somebody else's? And I'm going to tell you, especially if you are an empath, you will pick up other people's emotions and feelings before they even know that they are having this emotion or feeling. Someone else's pain. I'm telling you here now, especially if you're unaware that you are an empath, that means you're not covered. So you're walking around all day picking up other energies. Remember, anxiety will also show up in the body too. So again, you don't want to keep picking up things and piling on things that don't belong to you. You have enough on your own. So in those random moments, have you ever been doing something and you just feel like anxious, you can't breathe, overwhelmed? Because that's what anxiety makes you feel. In that moment, I want you to stop and figure out, where is this coming from? Where is it stemming from? The second question is it mine or somebody else's? And last but not least, am I trying to control a result that isn't mine to control? This is a part of you allowing others to do what? Deal with the consequences of their actions. I know it's hard. It's what I call tough love, but it has to be done. If not, in the long run, you are conditioning these people to then depend on you for whatever they need. And this is absolutely going to show up in the way that they treat you. And because you've allowed access to yourself in this way, this is a normal thing for them, because you've allowed it to go on for so long. And so that's something else you're also going to have to deal with. Teaching people now how to give you those boundaries and have those limitations in place, because everyone does not deserve or is not entitled to access to you. Access to you has to be granted. People don't just get to come into my space. You have to be invited in. I don't care who you are or where you are. Because I know and understand that everything is an energy exchange. And everyone does not have your best interest at heart. I don't care who they are or what they say. And a lot of these lessons we have to learn the hard way. So I like to think that I learned them so you didn't have to. Okay? I need help. Can I get advice on something? You absolutely can, Olivia, girl. You know that's what I'm here for, my love. What's going on? Look, what's going on, girl? Hey, little bear. Hey, girl. Girl, listen, I got to get a bracelet or something. I've been so busy. I know you got some stuff. Inbox me, girl. Let me know, mama. My sister has been avoiding me and I'm scared I made her mad. Okay. Have you asked her? Are y'all first of all, like, are you guys very close? And have you asked her if she's upset? And one more question here. Do you know why she's upset and are pretending not to, right? Because that's absolutely something that we do. You know, that just made me think of this literally just made me think of the last conversation that I had with my sister. So I've already told you all about my sister, my baby sister, and I lost her to cancer 2 years ago, going on 3 years this year. And she had she was very private, you know. She didn't want anybody to know she was sick and things like this. And so she was needing some help financially with some services that she was wanting to get for her care. And so she had sent out a message to everybody. Well, I'm not going to say everybody, But to me, my mom and my sister asked if we could help, and so I took it upon myself to reach out to another family member to see if they were interested in helping with this specific thing. And so I asked, not I asked the I asked the person not to say anything. Not only did I ask, but I trusted that they weren't gonna say anything. If you knew my sister, you know that she was very stubborn, and if you got on her bad side, well, it's no telling how long she'd stay there. And so the person ended up saying something, and so my sister completely shut me out. And I remember I was sitting at work one day and she called me, right? And I already knew what it was. I'm an empath, remember. I felt it as soon as she called. I'm like, oh my god, she knows. And sure enough, I answered that phone and she's like, did you tell so and so? And I pretended like I couldn't hear her, like the connection was bad, and said, I gotta call you back. I'll call you back. I can't really hear you. And it's funny because something told me to take a screen. Well, see, I'm not gonna say something. My spirit told me to take a screenshot of that right then, and I did. That was the last time I saw my sister, and she was passed before I could even get to her. And so you don't want to leave things unresolved, especially if they are not important, okay? So you need to talk to your sister, especially it doesn't matter who's upset, if it's you or her, but somebody has to be the bigger person. So I'm going to encourage you to be the bigger person and reach out to her. A lot of times too, when people are going through things, some people are, prideful. Some people are egoic. I'm not going to say this is the situation, but when it comes to, needing help and stuff like that, everybody doesn't know how to ask for it. I especially did not. And so this was also something I had to learn. So reach out to her. Don't just assume, that or she's going to be okay. It's your sister. Reach out to her. And the other thing too, I'm gonna say this last thing when it comes to people being indifferent. I'm the type of person, I'm not, I don't care about being right. I mean, at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. The way I see right and wrong is, if I'm right about something, great. That means that's one less thing I have to learn. But if I'm wrong about something, then that is absolutely going to be the opportunity for me to learn whatever it is that needs to be learned in that space. So either way it goes, it's a win-win situation. It's all about your perspective. I'm telling you now, your perspective changes everything. I don't care what it is. If you can change your perspective, you change, the whole situation changes. Okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is setting boundaries with your thoughts. Okay? Hold on, let me go back because I skipped over myself. At the end of that exercise, when I told you to ask yourself the question to figure out where the anxiety is deriving from, if it's not yours, I want you to say internally, I release what isn't mine. Okay? And move on. When you're releasing these things, remember, you got to release it and let it go. I know it's hard to not go back in. That's that emotions. That's what those emotions will make you do. Okay? So you got to release it and move on, understanding and knowing that you've made the best decision in that situation. This is also how you build up self-trust, right? Especially when it comes to you just getting into your higher vibration. You have to build a rapport with your higher self, and the only way to do that is trust her guidance, trust his guidance. And slowly but surely, look, you go from becoming a team to becoming one. Okay, so the next thing is going to be setting boundaries with your thoughts. Anxious thoughts tend to spiral into worst case scenarios. What happens when you anxious? Shoot, you go from 1 to a million that quick. You went from having one thing happen to now your mind has created 101 different scenarios, and they're all wrong. None of them are right. So when this happens, you have to interrupt that thought immediately. I mean immediately. Remember, when you give attention, when you give energy to a thought, it gives it life. And the more life you give it, the more momentum it has. The more momentum that it has, that means that's how that vibration is going out. And anything that has a momentum, the higher the momentum, the quicker the return. Okay? So you don't want to be pulling in certain things to you. Okay? But this is what your life is. Everything that happens in your life, you have pulled into you from a thought, feeling, or belief that you have about yourself. That's the only way your world can be created. You're constantly thinking that things are happening outside of you, not understanding that everything outside of you comes from inside of you. Okay? So, when you have that thought, what if this goes wrong? Replace it with, I can handle whatever happens when it happens. This is you understanding what? That God brought this to you on purpose. This is not by mistake. So there's nothing for you to worry about. All you can do is, when it gets to you, go through it without fear, with faith. This is how you alchemize and transmute energy. This is how you take your power back. This is how you begin to regain control. And in that moment, I want you to be present. Look, at that moment, with these thoughts, what do we know about these thoughts? You got to be present with the thought. You have to be in that moment with that thought, or else it will. Okay? So, I will handle it when it gets here. That is going to bring you back into the present moment. That is going to take you away from stressing about what is not here yet. Because tomorrow is not here and yesterday is gone. Okay? We talked it out and she's a bit better now. Okay, well, that's great. So what is your, I mean, what advice are you seeking? Because it seems like you got that under control. The next thing is going to be creating a release ritual, okay? These are physical actions that help the brain let go. Because what do we know about this beautiful brain of ours? It has the tendency to need to release. It needs to let it out. And what most people do, what do? They go and tell someone else. Phone a friend, right? I don't believe in that. So one thing about me is, you're not going to get a phone call from me asking you or needing your energy or draining your energy. I am a very independent, solution-based person. And so when a problem happens in my life, I understand that that's something there for me. So I don't go outside of myself to solve problems or look for answers. It's also understanding that I'm created in my entirety and everything I need is already in me. Right? So instead of you going and phoning a friend and telling them your issues, because what happens, that person, even though you know they told you could tell them, you could trust them, well, now that you put it in their brain, they're human just like you, and they also have that capacity to release something. So now they go and tell somebody else, and this is how gossip is created, right? This is how rumors and things go on about. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is write it down on a piece of paper. Okay? Write it down on a piece of paper and then speak them out loud. And everything that you speak out loud, I want you to say, I let this go. Whatever it is, read it out and say, I let this go. And go through all of them. After you do that, tear the paper up. Set it on fire. Flush it down the toilet. But whatever you do, I want you to visualize it as you're burning it, as you're flushing it, whatever you're doing with it. But I want you to visualize placing those worries at that moment into a river, and with the lighting of that paper or the flushing of that toilet, whatever you choose to do, I want you to visualize everything that you place floating away from you. And then you say, I have done my part. I release the rest. And move on. The next thing is going to be focusing on the present moment. But I guess I've kind of already told you this one. But a way to do that, though, especially when you get overwhelmed, anxious, okay? You want to ground yourself, okay, by noticing 3 things that you can see, 2 things you can hear, and 1 thing that you can touch. Those 5 senses that you're so used to using, they come in handy sometimes, especially when you get in your spiritual journey, right? So this is going to quickly reset your nervous system, okay, and pull you back into that present moment, okay? Remember, anxiety lives in the future, not in the present. You're never really anxious about what is happening right now because you're in that moment. Another thing about anxiety is I want you to also keep in mind that we've been conditioned to think that anxiety represents something negative, something bad coming, but I'm here to tell you that's not always true, okay? When spirit is something beautiful is coming your way, it often presents itself in a chaotic form that may look and feel like anxiety, okay? But this is where you being able to discern and decipher is going to come into handy, okay? So don't always just take up the spirit of anxiety as being something negative, okay? And last but not least, replacing control with trust, okay? This is going to be a little deeper spiritual shift, but instead of thinking, I need this to work out in a certain way, what you're going to shift to is knowing that whatever unfolds is going to guide you into where you are meant to be. Every step, every misstep, everything that you call a failure means you're a step closer to what it is that you're trying to attain. Okay, remember, that's that perspective. That perspective automatically shifts any situation. Okay? When you're able to shift like that, when you're able to pivot like that, I'm going to tell you now, your life becomes so much more easier because it's taking you out of that constant victim mindset. Constantly feeling like something is happening or against you. This is you understanding how your flow works, right? What's that thing that I tell you all the time? Your life is going to change by force or flow. You choose. Okay? You taking your control, your power back is absolutely you choosing. You just have to be able to, once you choose, to decide, which is to commit to that choice and then be consistent. Okay? So, a simple, relax, reset, release practice that I want you to now begin to implement. Okay? This is going to be now our thing. Okay? This is our R and R. Relax. Whenever you are getting into or needing to relax, I want you to remember to breathe. Okay, your breath work is always going to help you calm your body down. Okay, so relax is breathe and calm your body. 2 is going to be reset. The way to reset is to focus on what you can control. Last but not least, last but not least, release, which is to let go of everything else. Whatever is not serving you, whatever is not adding value to you, whatever is not pushing you up, that is keeping you down, let it go. And your mantra for this is going to be, I do my part, I release the rest. I love you. I enjoyed you so much. I'm going to see you Thursday. And don't forget, start implementing these things into your life so you can start seeing the changes, okay? Enjoy the rest of your night. But what I want you to absolutely make sure that you do the rest of your night, bye-bye.